So there's this one song by Tom Cardy, it's called Level Clear, and in a very real way, it says everything that I've ever wanted to say better than I would ever be able to say it. And it's a song about Mario, the Italian plumber. I'd really encourage you to go and listen to it if you haven't heard it already. I've left a link in the thing. I've left a link. You know how this works. There's one thing about the music video that I've been stuck on for the 11 months or so that it's been out, and it's the way that it ends. The last 30 seconds of this silly, goofy comedy music video frightened me to my very core. But we've got a little way to go before we can get to that. We can't start at the end. The song does, though. The song starts after Tom Cardy's Mario has already defeated the boss, saved the princess, and cleared the level. This is noteworthy in itself. We enter the story after Tom Cardy has already won.
Boss dead, level clear, where do I go from here?
This is bad news for Tom Cardy. It might go without saying, but starting or continuing a story after all the narrative cues have already told us that they lived happily ever after works to problematize the idea of happy endings. A good example of this is Into the Woods, where all the characters get what they want by the end of the first act.
Journey over, all is mended, and it's not just for today, but tomorrow, and extended ever after.
But then, the second act starts. They have to go back into the woods.
Once upon a time. Later.
You probably already know about the hero's journey, so I'm not going to explain to you what it is, but I will flash up a handy diagram. The titular woods in Into the Woods represent the unknown or the special world. And the fact that they get what they want and then still need to go back into the woods is pointing out a very simple truth. That in your life, you will go through the hero's journey not once, but many times. For as long as you live, you will find yourself needing to go into the woods over and over. And you will return changed. Over and over and over again. Alright, back to Tom Cardy. We enter into the liminal space between the end of the journey he has just completed and the beginning of another. This is an uncomfortable place to be. Have you ever been to a social gathering that you really enjoyed, but after you go home, instead of feeling energized from the wonderful time you just had, you just feel kind of empty? That's the space we're occupying. We get these lines, which form the basic thematic material that we're going to be working with.
I can't sleep, lie in bed, think about what bag I said.
Even if you did defeat me, what would you do then?
He's just like me for real. He's just like me for real. He's just like me for real. One of the core lyrical motifs for the song is the fact that he still can't sleep. The first 3 verses associate that level clear, start again, with a reminder that this is precipitated by lying in bed unable to sleep. So that even when we are not explicitly told that Tom Cardy still can't sleep, we know it every time he clears the level and starts again. Just as an aside, this shot,
Try to sleep, lie in bed, level clear, start again.
This is the last time that he bothers to mention that he still can't sleep, and this shot does something to me. It touches me in that part of your soul. You know, that really sensitive part that most things don't have access to. Every verse after this shot tells us about Tom Cardy's next pursuit. He becomes a lawyer and wins a big case. He falls in love and starts a family in Spain. He takes up environmental activism, and so on. They all end with that level clear, start again, right up until the bridge. There, the song takes on a tone of absolute mania, throwing profession after profession at you. It is desperately escalating, looking for the thing that will stick, batching them together in quick succession, every line punctuated by that level clear. Then it launches at breakneck speed into the chorus. The chorus doesn't have lyrics per se, just sound bites, and they always end with that line from the bad guy. Even if you did defeat me, what would you do then? When words aren't enough, we sing. And when singing isn't enough, we fall apart into a frantic musical breakdown. Nearly every sound in this song is a video game sound effect, musical sting, or a motif from a video game. I don't know, I lost kind of track of that line halfway through. You might recognize a lot of them if you grew up with the N64. The song does not just choose Mario to center itself around. It is also intentionally, in every aspect, drawing on your recognition of the video game soundscape. That's important. Let's talk for a second about video games. What the hell are we doing when we play a video game? Why have I played over 1,000 hours of Stardew Valley? Why, with the 1.6 update, am I currently, to this day, coming home after a long day of work to roleplay doing even more work on my little turnip farm? The answer to that is pretty simple, isn't it? Our earnest little monkey brains like goals, and it doesn't much matter to them where those goals are coming from. Our earnest little monkey brains like rewards as well. But what I find interesting is that, at least for me, the most compelling reward is not a simple, sweet little treat, but the feeling of having made measurable progress. Being able to do 2 push-ups when last week you were only able to do 1, or in my case, being able to do 1 push-up when last week I could do precisely 0, is the reward. In the case of Stardew Valley, my reward for watering my crops is that I can sell them to get gold to upgrade my pick, which I can use to mine ore, that I can use to make sprinklers, that I can use to water my crops, which I can sell to get gold to upgrade my pick, to mine more ore, to make more sprinklers, to water more crops, that I can sell to get more gold to... You get the picture. This is a simple observation, but you might have already noticed the troubling implication. When will I have watered enough crops? When will I have made enough gold? When will I have mined enough ore? How many more thousands of hours will I put into this game before I am satisfied? When can I stop doing push-ups? This is the genius of the video game framing in Level Clear. Video games are a pure expression of the hunger, the eternal cycle of desire, pursuit, acquisition, the endless hero's journey, abstracted away from any material effects that other expressions of the hunger might have. The workaholic rise and grind folks can point to the fact that you need food and shelter to live, and those things cost money. Alcoholics can point to the physical effect that alcohol has on the body. But video games? For the vast majority of people, grinding out levels on World of Warcraft has no material effect on their quality of life. It's all about the hunger. Tom Cardy's Level Clear captures the hunger perfectly. And it's also a damn banger. So that's my reading of the song, and I think it's pretty self-evident. If that's all I had to say, I don't think I'd bother. You can get all of that from listening to it. But the music video does not end when the song ends. The music video does what I think all artists try to do when they talk about some miserable fact of the human condition. I did it myself when I did a video on this subject. It tries to give you a satisfying ending. It tries to leave you with a little hope. See, this song is knowingly a retelling of the myth of Sisyphus. There's a lot of S's in that. This song is knowingly a retelling of the myth of Sisyphus. That's the actual Greek myth, not the extremely French work of philosophy by the extremely French Albert Camus, though we'll get to him in a minute. That's not speculation. We have this comment from Tom Cardy himself confirming this. I'm not overanalyzing this song, fuck you, the curtains are blue and they're blue on purpose, and how insulting to the author to imply otherwise. Camus' extremely French essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, is engaging with a particular framing of the hunger that he calls the absurd. The absurd, to put an unpoetic point on it, exists in the perpetual tension between the nature of humanity and the nature of the world. Humans are meaning-making machines, dropped into a world that, since God is dead and we have killed him, has no meaning. Camus is reasoning through the question of whether life is worth living if it has no inherent meaning, and he is explicitly not interested in solutions that require illusion, self-deception, or anything that you can't say for certain is true with a capital T. He does not want you to make your own meaning. He has no interest in Pascal's wager. He is asking very specifically, can we face the absurd for precisely what it is, and still continue living? In the end, he concludes that we must. We can never escape the tension between human nature and the nature of the world, so we must learn to live with that tension. We must face reality exactly as it is, accept the things that we cannot change, and take our pleasure from changing the things we can. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. You like this ASMR? I can't wait to have to listen to that back. At the end of the Level Clear music video, Tom Cario is presented with the option to start again, and the cursor, ever so briefly, hovers over no. Not for very long, just long enough to maybe ask the question, is it worth the trouble? He decides yes, and the NPC asks him to complete the same quest that we saw him complete at the start. Defeat the bad guy, save the princess. We started at the end, and now we've come back around to the beginning. This time, he says no. He says it feels good to say no. He clambers onto the couch, and he finally gets some sleep. Honk shoe, honk shoe. In narrative terms, this is a great ending. Tom Cario wanted to achieve something, to fill the void with accomplishments, but what he needed was a good night's sleep. He learned to slow down and say no and take time for self-care and all that good stuff that people tell you to do when you tell them that you're burned out or depressed. But you might notice that this is not actually an escape from the hero's journey. What we're witnessing is actually an essential component of it. The hero refusing the call. He has not disrupted the cycle, he is in fact perpetuating it. But the music video can't acknowledge that. The music video needs to end. It can't sustain another trip into the woods. So it leaves me with a question. Imagine you are Tom Cario. You've set down the urge to constantly achieve. You've decided to stop rolling the boulder up the hill and finally get some rest. You have the best sleep of your life. Maybe you sleep for 2 straight days. But then you wake up. So my question is, what are you going to do today? Hello, it is currently 3:30 a.m. and I have work tomorrow. So that's the video. Sorry, I'm not right. So that's the video. If you liked it, please do press the like button so that I know that you liked it, because otherwise I don't really know whether or not you liked it. Subscribe if you want. Oh.